Shalom. This week's Torah portion is Parashat Tetzaveh, meaning you shall command, beginning in chapter 27 and verse 20 of the book of Exodus. Our portion continues with these commandments concerning the Mishkan, the tabernacle, with a special focus on the Kohanim, the priestly families whom God has chosen to serve. But what does it really mean to be a Kohen, a priest serving in the tabernacle, and later the Holy Temple? Aaron, the first high priest, was praised for his attribute of loving kindness. He was a man of peace and harmony, as Hillel the elder evokes in the chapter of the Fathers. Be of the students of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace. Aaron passed down these attributes to his descendants, quite literally in their DNA, in the priestly Kohen gene, which testifies to God's eternal covenant with the Kohanim, as stated in Exodus chapter 40 and verse 15, and it shall be for them an appointment as Kohanim forever, through all generations. Chapter 29 of our portion describes the 7-day divinely mandated process of inaugurating Aaron and his sons into the priesthood. Various types of korbanot, offerings are brought. The purpose of this procedure was to sanctify the Kohanim so that they could serve Hashem, to elevate them spiritually to a level where they could channel divine blessing into the world and to transform their identity from ordinary people into vessels of holiness. So it wasn't simply a formal ceremony, it was an inner transformation. The Kohen was being restructured spiritually to be able to carry out his sacred function. Like the other commandments in our portion, this ceremony and its details were commanded to Moshe by God himself. We find that one aspect in particular in this process by which the Kohanim are consecrated for their sacred duties is most unusual. And in order to truly understand the Kohen's unique mission, we need to look deeply at this process. So open up your heart. Some of the blood from the ram of inauguration offering is applied to the Kohen's right ear, his right thumb, and his right big toe. This is described in chapter 29, verses 20 and 21, where Torah states, "You shall slaughter the ram and take some of its blood and put it on the ridge of Aaron's right ear, and on the ridges of his sons' right ears, and on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toe of their right feet, and dash the rest of the blood against every side of the altar round about." Why must each priest who will be serving in the sanctuary undergo this elaborate ceremony? And certainly one of the most intriguing aspects is this placement of blood from the offering on 3 specific points of the Kohen's body: his right ear, his right thumb, and his right big toe. What is this all about? But what makes this even more surprising is that this same ritual appears in an entirely different context, namely the purification of the Metzorah that Torah prescribes in Leviticus chapter 14. This individual, the Metzorah, while often mistranslated as leper, is not suffering from an ordinary physical ailment, but rather a spiritual affliction. Unlike the disease known as leprosy, the Torah describes tsarat, a condition that manifests on the skin, clothing, or even the walls of the houses, as a sign of spiritual imbalance. The sages teach that tsarat is often a consequence of lashon hara, of speaking harmful speech, arrogance, or other destructive behaviors that disrupt societal harmony. As a result, the Metzorah is quarantined outside the camp, reflecting his severed connection from the community and, on a deeper level, from the divine presence. When he undergoes purification to return to the camp, his return to society is marked by an unusual procedure: the application of blood from his offering to his right ear, right thumb, and right big toe. This is the exact same device used to consecrate the Kohanim in the tabernacle, as appears here in our portion of Tetzaveh. This appears to us to be a shocking connection between 2 seemingly opposite figures: the Metzorah, temporarily isolated from the camp, and the Kohen, elevated to the highest sanctity. What do the Metzorah and the Kohen have in common? So open up your heart in the deepest way, because the answer lies in what these 3 points on the body represent. Torah is teaching us something profound about spiritual transformation, about perception, action, and movement. These 3 points represent the entire spectrum of human function. The ear is about perception. What do we listen to? What we hear shapes our consciousness, affecting our mind and soul. What we choose to listen to determines how we perceive and process reality. As the Zohar teaches, the ear is the gateway to the soul. The Kohen must be attuned to Hashem's word. The Metzora's affliction came from listening to gossip and other forms of evil speech, which is distorted hearing. He must stop listening to the impurity of negative speech. He must unlearn the habits that led to slander and negativity. Both individuals must train their ears to listen only to truth and holiness. The thumb is about sanctifying action. The thumb is the master of dexterity. Without it, the hand lacks power. The thumb represents what we do, our ability to grasp and shape the world. What do we use our hands for? The hands create and give and shape reality, and conversely, they can also destroy. The hands are how we manifest the spiritual in the physical world. Now, the Kohen's hands are consecrated. His hands must only be used for sacred service, blessing the people, offering the korbanot offerings, and upholding justice. The Metzora misused his hands for selfish or harmful actions, and he must relearn to use his hands for deeds of kindness and holiness. The feet. The feet are all about movement, direction, and our purpose along life's path. Movement also has to be sanctified. The big toe plays a critical role in weight-bearing and forward propulsion during walking. It stabilizes the entire body. Without it, movement is unsteady. In human beings, the main function of the big toe is to direct body weight through the foot in the direction of travel. So where are we going? Where do we walk in life? As King David sings in Psalms 94, if I said, my foot has slipped, your kindness, O Hashem, supported me. Our feet carry out our mission. The Kohen is stepping into a role that requires extreme spiritual sensitivity. He must direct his feet to walk in holiness. The Metzora's feet took him walking in all the wrong places, towards sin or impurity. All this tells us that the placement of this blood for both of them is about realigning consciousness. The Kohen is not just putting on garments, he is embodying holiness. The Metzora is not just being healed, he is restoring his higher self. But before we go deeper, there's something we haven't addressed yet. Why specifically the right ear, the right hand, and the right foot? Why not the left side of the body? Exactly. Torah is extremely precise, so what does the right side symbolize? In Torah tradition, the right side conveys strength and honor. For instance, in Psalms 118:16, it is written, the right hand of Hashem is exalted. The right hand of Hashem does valiantly. A metaphor, of course. And the sources of Torah wisdom teach that the right side represents chesed, the attribute of loving kindness, the side of positive energy, giving, and divine love. The Kohen is designated to channel divine kindness and benevolence and to bring harmony into the world through the service in the temple. The Metzora's priorities were skewed, and his attribute of kindness must be brought to the forefront of his consciousness. And for both individuals, the right side is about aligning oneself with goodness, positivity, and spiritual wholeness. And open up your heart deeper still, because here's something amazing. This foundational Torah principle, that the right side is connected to strength and energy and balance and healing, is to be found across cultures where we see the same concept reflected in ancient healing traditions. Thousands of years after the Torah was given, holistic health practices still practiced today emphasize the significance of energy flow in these same parts of the body. In traditional Chinese medicine, the body is viewed as an interconnected system of energy pathways known as meridians, with specific points that influence physical and spiritual health. The right side is yang energy, masculine force, strength and action, and giving. Meridians of the right side govern key functions of balance and movement. And the ear alone contains over 200 acupuncture points, corresponding to different body organs and systems. Reflexology considers these 3 points of the ear, the hand, and the foot as key control centers of energy flow, with the liver and spleen meridians, for example, originating in the big toe. What the divinely revealed Torah showed us thousands of years ago aligns with what many systems of tradition and knowledge have intuited, that spiritual and physical balance begins with these very same 3 points. But understand deeply that this is not just about individual energy or restoration of balance. The Holy Temple and everything that happens there is about something far greater, cosmic tikkun, or rectification. Everything that goes on in the temple and everything about the temple is about channeling divine energy into the world and effecting this tikkun, that is, attempting to fix the world. The temple service provides an opportunity for humanity and the entire universal life force to correctly recalibrate its relationship with the Creator. It's the repair of Eden, literally a restoration of Adam's fall. Adam's first sin was with his perception, action, and movement. His banishment from the Garden of Eden came about through distorted perception, listening to the snake, meaning the evil inclination, followed by his wrongful action of taking the fruit, and his misdirected movement of attempting to hide from God. The Kohanim are tasked with restoring what Adam lost, a return to Eden, walking before Hashem in purity. The Kohen is so central in all of this because his service bridges between physical and spiritual reality, and his very body is to be aligned to serve Hashem, head, hands, and feet. The Kohen thus serves as Adam restored, officiating in the Holy Temple as a representative of all mankind, and thus he works towards a universal healing in the very place that is the epicenter of spiritual repair. Isaiah prophesies that the Holy Temple will be a house of prayer for all nations, reminding us that this is not just a Jewish mission, but a universal one. As the Holy Rav Kook writes in Orot HaKodesh, The Lights of Holiness, the Kohen's service is a meditation of divine reality. His actions reverberate through all of existence. So open up your heart to the deepest depths. One of the most defining features that sets human beings apart from all other primates is the opposability of the thumb, the unique ability to grasp and manipulate and create. Similarly, the big toe provides the foundation for upright movement, allowing for balance, stability, and purposeful locomotion. These two traits, the power to act and the ability to move forward, are not just biological distinctions. They reflect the essence of human purpose. Unlike animals, which operate primarily on instinct, man is defined by his ability to choose his actions and direct his steps. The Kohen, in his inauguration and consecration, undergoes a rectification on behalf of all humanity, aligning these fundamental faculties with divine service. By placing blood from the offering on his ear, thumb, and toe, the Torah signals that human greatness lies not merely in possessing these abilities, but in using them for holiness and justice and the sanctification of the world. The Kohen stands in the Mikdash as a living model of what humanity was meant to be. Elevated beings who hear wisdom and truth, who act resolutely, and who move forward along a path of holiness and divine purpose. And this brings us to the final element, the placement of the blood itself. Torah teaches that blood represents the soul, the nephesh, the life force, as Leviticus 17:11 states, "For the soul of the flesh is in the blood." By applying the blood of that which has been sanctified as an offering to Hashem to the 3 points as we have learned, the individual's connection to God is symbolically realigned. A spiritual reconfiguration is effected. The Kohen is now wired to be a vessel for holiness. The Metzorah is being rewired to return to purity. The blood placed on the Kohen's ear and hand and foot is more than just an act of initiation. It's a symbol of the ultimate realignment of all humanity with God's will, and a model for all those who seek to dedicate their lives to a higher purpose. So open up your heart deeper than ever before in your whole life. Torah is teaching us that just as the Kohen had to undergo a process of spiritual realignment to serve in holiness, so too every person, Jew and Gentile alike, has the opportunity to realign their life toward a higher purpose. We all need spiritual readjustment. As we ponder the wonder of the Kohen's inauguration, let's ask ourselves, what do we listen to? What do we use our hands for? Where are we going in this life? The Kohen's inauguration ceremony reminds us that our perception, our actions, and our path must be consciously directed towards goodness, truth, and holiness. The path to redemption is a universal vision. The service of the Kohanim in the tabernacle was never just about them. It was always about elevating all of humanity. And today as well, every person has a role in walking the path of holiness. This is our shared journey, a mission to realign our lives with divine truth and to help bring the world to its perfected state. By sanctifying our perception and our deeds and our direction in life, we each take part in bringing about a future where God's presence is fully revealed and humanity lives in harmony according to its divine calling.